Hey kids, Mr. Glenn here. Hope you're well. We are going to go and add a tree to this tree layer, but some things are going to happen in Paint.net that we need to just understand how Paint.net works when we bring images into our artwork, our canvas here, and how it will add a new layer here so that we can learn how to do this and manage this so that it doesn't cause us any problems. We need to know how to cut things out and move things around. This is before we use any tools here. So we're not going to start really using any tools here, with the exception of maybe one in a moment. Okay, so I put some writing here. This is Control and D, because when we come to cut things out later, we get these things called marching ants. And more often than not, this is the problem. That when we try to move things around, we can't move them because the computer has selected something and it's still selected, even if it's kind of just 2 or 1 pixel. The problem is probably in Control and D. What this means is deselect. It means deselect, tell the computer to deselect what it is that's in the picture. And you'll see what I mean in a moment. So I'm going to make sure that you know where the control button is and hold down Control and then hit D at the same time. So I'll show you how this works. In your pages, your school technology pages on Firefly, you'll have a trees file, and I've given that on your page. You'll have downloaded that and put that in your downloads folder already, or if you haven't, stop the video, go and get that into your downloads folder and go and download it immediately, because you'll need that tree file. And I'll show you what the tree file looks like now. So I'm going to go into layers. We're going to go and put trees into this tree layer. So we're going to stay in this layer. We're going to kind of ignore the background for a while. We're just going to stay in a flat layer, just like we did in year 2 and 3. And so I'm going to go to layer, and I'm going to go to import from a file. I'm going to go and grab a picture from a file, the one that we've downloaded already, that is in our downloads folder. So I'm going to go and grab this. I've got this in my folder. You can see I've got lots and lots of pictures here from other classes. So I'm going to go and get my tree layer, and it's this black one here. You can see that I've done something to this one. So yours will probably be black and it'll look like this. Okay, so I'm going to go and click on this and then open it up. And you'll notice immediately that 1 is rather big. 2, it's got some black around it. So yours may be black. It may be white, depending on how Firefly treats the picture. And what we're going to do is just allow us to have some time now to look around what is going on with this file that we've put into this layer. So before we start to do anything to it, let's take a look around the picture itself. So on this layer, you'll notice that when I move my mouse around, there are different things that appear on my screen when I bring my mouse to the corners. You'll see there's a hand with some arrows. What this allows me to do is turn this around. And this is going to become handy when we start to arrange our images and create many, many layers for our artwork. You'll notice that there are bubbles on the side and on the corners and on the tops and on the bottom. Now there are some rules according to this, because we want to keep a thing called the aspect ratio. And the aspect ratio means that I can hold down my shift key, which I'm going to do right now. So I'm holding it down. And when I grab the corner, my picture keeps the same width and ratio of height to width. So that if I let go of it, it does this. And that's not what we want. What we want is to keep our shift key and allow us to move this around. Okay? So the same with the turns as well. You'll notice that this is now snapping. When I hold down my shift key, it allows me to move it to 90 degrees, to 30 degrees, to 45 degrees, and so on and so on and so on, all the way through 270 and a full 360. But if I let go of the shift key, it allows me to go degree by degree, which sometimes is handy, but mostly it isn't. Last thing before we go to the next video is I need you to do Control and D, and this will take the marching ants that you'll see around the outside of your image. So I'm going to do Control D right now, like that. And now the picture is fixed onto my layer. Right. Go and have a go at this yourself. Go and get the file from the link that we've given you. Put this into a layer using layer, import from file, and notice that this is going to be like this. Next, we're going to learn how to manage this and bring this into our trees layer. Right, it's up to you to have a go yourselves. As always, Year 5, good luck.